30 projections in 30 days going into the 2024 regular season for the New York Mets as we continue our month-long deep dive into the Mets 40-man roster. Today, we are talking about my guy, Tylor Megill. In a very odd 2023 campaign, Tylor Megill displayed his very best and very worst at the same time. In a career-high workload, Megill posted a 4.70 earned run average, a 4.96 fielding independent pitching, striking out 18.5% of batters across 126.1 innings pitched. From a converted two-pitch reliever, Megill was a late-blooming right-hander developing a four-weapon mix, a mid-90s fastball that can touch 99, a late-breaking slider, side-spinning changeup, and a heavy-dropping curveball. Towards the end of the season, Megill also showcased his brand-new splitter, which is based off the characters of his teammate Kodai Senga's hybrid forkball, expected to be featured in significant usage this season. In 2023, Megill really struggled to display consistency, not just results-wise, but also a very erratic pitch arsenal, with a career worst in strikeout rate, walk rate, hard hit rate, whiff rate, and chase rate. Megill will look to find his footing again as a potential piece to the Mets rotation entering a 28-year-old season.
We've seen a lot of the same for Tylor Megill. Like, obviously, we've seen good moments. He has great starts. You're like, oh, here he comes. And then he gets injured or just has bad starts or both. From year to year, when it's all said and done, you're looking at a pretty similar results. I mean, the way he gets them may be slightly different from year to year, but until he puts it all together and just kind of figure out what pitcher he is, this is a guy that he wanted to hit 100 after that great opening day start, hasn't been able to quite do it. Until he really finds out, like you say, he's adding new pitches and things like that. So, I mean, he's still young, but eventually it does come to a point where it's like, are you in the rotation or are you out of the rotation? And for him, I mean, this is a good a chance you're going to get. If the Mets can do a six-man rotation and they already got somebody injured, this is the year for him. If he doesn't get done this year, then I just don't see it happening as a
slash shot. Like, this is make or break. Because how many more years are we going to give he's the depth option, he's the emergency? Made him a priority of he's the major young piece, and he had the great debut. He had the great opening day start. He has great moments, just like David Peterson. And he has his shitty moments just like him. He might look different, he might throw harder, but if you put David Peterson and Tylor Megill in the same room, they're the same pitcher, just one's left-handed, one throws hard. Do I like Megill? Sure. I think he's better than David Peterson, but that's not saying much. So, again, with Tylor, all the hype, all these fan accounts of Jacob deGrom and all that, we don't need Jacob deGrom this year because we ain't got nobody. If it's a year to ever emulate Jacob deGrom and win the Cy Young, it's this year.
Really just need the identity crisis to be figured out with him. Whether he is going to be throwing hard as a reliever, two-pitch mix, or something, if he is going to be adding something to his arsenal. Is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be able to give you deep workloads where, maybe he can get past 5 innings? He did talk a lot about it this year where, going into spring training, where he made quite a few adjustments to where he can consistently have that velocity going for multiple innings, which has been a problem with him. He's had the hot starts, and then he's kind of fallen off. There's been a lot of consistency. But at his best, I do think that he can really be a really good pitcher. I'm still a huge believer in Tylor Megill. And as we are recording this, he is going to be getting the first start of spring training. So we'll definitely find out real soon of what we're getting from Tylor Megill. A little preview of it going into this season. I just want to remind everybody that projections are not predictions. They are benchmarks of the player's current specific percentile outcome based on predictive data and results. For my projections, I decided to use, in my opinion, each player's 75th percentile outcome. Although a majority of player projections are at a 50th percentile outcome, I personally wanted to use a median between sustainability and upside. Also gives you a decent look as to who I am high on and who I am low on going into this season. As for Tylor Megill, 103.2 innings pitched, 21.3 strikeout rate, a 8.3 walk rate, a 4.08 earned run average, a 4.35 fielding independent pitching, a 1.4 home runs per 9, and a .4 wins above replacement.
If that happened, that would be the best year of his career. So that is interesting, but also that's less innings than he did this past season. So I'm kind of curious to see what his overall role would be if that was the case. Is that due to six-man rotation? Is that due to spending some time in the minors, injury, all three? So if he is pitching decent, he is going to be in the rotation. I mean that he's really not fighting too much stiff competition right now, especially with the Sanga injury. So for me, do I expect the best year of his career? Not really. I expect it to be more along the lines of what we've seen before. The other numbers seemed pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. So again, I don't see the best year of his career coming, but again, it's not like it's a massive improvement from what we've seen before. But again, I think the innings total is pretty low. If for him to be trying to establish himself as a main starting rotation piece, like Andrew was talking about, we have these other young guys who are kind of coming at his heels. They're behind you. You know what I mean? Like, you have the advantage right now because of experience, but these other young guys, if they perform really well, they're gonna overtake you, and then you're not the first option depth wise. So it's a big year for him. So I think he's probably gonna need a little more than that if he wants to stick around.
Yeah, I mean, I think taking all the stuff that Frank said into consideration, and even adding his last point, the innings are low. I could even see him lower. Like, it just, again, he's never been the most healthiest pitcher. Add that into consideration. Yes, the six-man rotation. Hopefully, we could sit in a world, let's say, Christian Scott, just pick a name. Let's say another Quintana Severino goes down. Christian Scott comes up and has like 3 to 4 really good starts, and then Severino or Quintana comes back. There's a world where Christian Scott takes Tylor Megill's spot, because if he ends up, or insert whatever prospect or young pitcher you want to pitch, Basil, Dom, whatever, take your pick. There's a world where that takes innings away from Tylor Megill if one of those young guys or multiple of those young guys can take that step and be contributors to this team and show more in 3-week stretch than Tylor Megill showed in his whole MLB career. Again, I think the innings are going to be an indifference, especially now you add six-man rotation and his injury history. But again, the best year of his career, I highly doubt that. I think the best of his career was that opening day start, and I don't think they're going to get much better.
Yeah, I mean, other projection systems, typically you got him at like 129. Some are going as low as 84 innings pitched. I think I kind of found a median with that. Like, you'll get a decent amount of starts from Tylor Megill. You'll get 15, maybe even 20. But is there a guarantee where this guy can go farther than 3 or 4 innings in those starts, which is the main question, and I think that's where you kind of can benchmark it. I'm a big reliever in Tylor Megill. I have been for a long time. I think I've established that. I still like him a lot. He's 28 years old. It's someone that I would definitely buy stock on to do well if he can develop that type of consistency, and we will see it firsthand. He will be one of the pitchers that will have a big spotlight on him during spring training this year.